Welcome to the debate. Today we are examining a really fundamental strategic puzzle for any company setting up shop in central London. How do you assess true value when the initial financial cost is identical? We've got two highly desirable, yet, well, philosophically opposed options that share the exact same starting cost of £500 per calendar month.
It is the perfect strategic tie, isn't it? The identical cost just takes the immediate budgeting question off the table and forces you to talk about the intangible assets, the prestige, the environment, the future-proofing. It's really a choice between optimizing for right now and maximizing your options for the long term.
Exactly. So our central question is this. Given that equal monthly cost, does the superior strategic value lie in the established prestige and focused environment of the 180 offices in St. James's, or does it lie in the dynamic energy, the sheer scale, and the hyperconnectivity of the St. Martin's Lane location in Covent Garden?
A fascinating paradox. It's tradition versus modernity right in the heart of London real estate.
I'll be arguing today that the St. James's location provides unmatched prestige and a controlled environment that creates what I've called superior acoustic capital, an environment that is just inherently better for high-focus, confidential professional services.
And I will argue that St. Martin's Lane in Covent Garden provides a much better foundation for attracting talent and for expansion. It maximizes what we could call social capital through its scale and connectivity, making it the frankly undeniable choice for any business that's prioritizing growth and cultural energy.
Okay, so the case for St. James's, it really begins with location as a statement. This is a prime St. James's location on Piccadilly. You're right next to Mayfair. We're talking about immediate access to London's most established financial and corporate networks. For firms where, that client perception is paramount, this isn't merely an office. It is a signal of status and stability.
Status is all well and good, but you can't exactly commute on status, can you?
Well, respectfully, the environment is the key asset here. The description promises a, quote, tranquil central London office space on a quiet side street. It creates this insulated professional bubble just a block away from a really busy thoroughfare. This operational silence, it's not just a comfort, it's a strategic asset for firms handling high-stakes, confidential information where focus is absolutely essential.
I'll concede the benefit of focused work, but it seems to me St. James's sacrifices functionality for that quietude. The facility is tailored, as it says, predominantly for businesses of up to 10 people. So the core proposition of this location is, well, it's rooted in limitations from the get-go.
That limitation is the definition of its bespoke service. It's designed specifically for smaller, high-value firms. And crucially, the functional support is tailored to them. A manned reception team is explicitly available for administrative support. For a growing boutique law firm or a financial consultancy, offloading that admin overhead to a dedicated team is an immediate multiplier for efficiency. It frees up the principals to just concentrate on core, high-billing activities.
That is certainly a powerful advantage for minimizing overhead. I'll give you that. However, I come at this from a fundamentally different strategic place. While St. James's is optimizing for immediate client service and focus, Covent Garden is optimizing for foundational growth and talent acquisition, which are the two, I think, non-negotiable elements for long-term success.
So how does St. Martin's Lane prove that long-term potential when we're looking at the same entry cost?
Well, it starts with connectivity and scale. And, taken together, they form an exponential advantage. St. James's offers 2 tube stations nearby. Okay, but St. Martin's Lane offers unparalleled commuter connectivity with 3 main tube stations virtually on the doorstep: Covent Garden, Leicester Square, and, critically, Charing Cross. This density just dramatically expands the accessible talent pool. It minimizes commute times, which is probably the single most important factor for retention among modern London employees.
I will grant the superior proximity and the sheer number of transit links. That's fair.
But the true strategic difference is the scale. St. James's is defined by its small focus. St. Martin's Lane, on the other hand, boasts 151 private offices and 12 dedicated desks across 5 floors. This offers massive internal expansion capacity. Let's say your firm in St. James's succeeds and you need to grow to 15 people overnight. You're facing a costly, disruptive relocation. But if the firm in Covent Garden succeeds, they just move 3 floors up within the same building. That scale offers internal stability and it minimizes what I'd call ecosystem risk.
That is a compelling distinction on the physical growth potential.
And beyond the physical space, the culture is explicitly designed to foster this social capital I mentioned. The atmosphere is described as a thriving business community that's packed with personality designed to unleash creativity. The networking events, they aren't an afterthought, they are a provided service. The whole area is a recognized hotspot for talent, surrounded by theaters, restaurants, bars, retail. It offers a lifestyle integration that is so highly valued by younger professional talent today.
So we've established a robust conflict here between optimizing for a controlled operational environment versus optimizing for raw growth capacity and community. Let's dig a bit deeper into our first point, the strategic value of scale versus focus.
I maintain that the scale limitation of the St. James's location, primarily for businesses up to 10 people, it just fundamentally undermines any long-term strategic planning. You're basically signing a lease with a guaranteed future bottleneck. I have to challenge this assumption that flexible terms are enough to compensate for a forced move down the line. What is the true cost, in lost productivity and team disruption when a firm outgrows its little bespoke bubble in 18 months?
I see why you emphasize that risk, but I would frame the risk differently. For a firm operating on, say, a low margin or one that requires extreme confidentiality, that flexibility in terms is the strategic safeguard. Scale is not the only metric of value. The Piccadilly location caters precisely to firms with a high energy and, frankly, potential distraction of a 151-office vibrant community is just not acceptable. That £500 a month secures a spot in a very exclusive, high-value ecosystem.
Okay, but does that exclusivity serve the team, or does it only serve the clients? While the St. James's firm is intensely focused on client needs, the Covent Garden firm is equally focused on building its internal capacity. The size of St. Martin's Lane creates a built-in network effect. A team of 10 people in St. James's might be the only firm of its kind in the building, which limits spontaneous collaboration or even client cross-referral. A team of 10 in Covent Garden is one of 151 offices. That just maximizes opportunities, especially in sectors like media, design, or tech, that really flourish on that kind of creative collision.
I would argue the operational efficiency provided by that bespoke administrative support is the ecosystem for the small enterprise. It eliminates the costly need to hire a full-time office manager or administrator. It lets those budget dollars be spent on core talent. It ensures focused efficiency over a kind of generalized community buzz. The firm in St. James's is buying operational predictability. Now, let's move on to point 2. Connectivity in the surrounding business environment. I'd argue that the quality of your neighbors and the purpose of the transport links are more important than just the sheer quantity.
I'm just not convinced by that line of reasoning. Because at the end of the day, the number and the immediate proximity of transport links is what matters most for attracting a wide range of talent.
Well, let's contextualize the transport. Yes, St. James's has 2 stations, Piccadilly Circus and Green Park, a 2 or 3 minute walk away. But Green Park, in particular, offers direct access to the Jubilee Line and the Victoria Line, which are crucial for connecting to established financial centers and high-end residential areas. Furthermore, the Piccadilly office grants immediate access to the highly esteemed corporate sectors of St. James's and Mayfair. This density of smart restaurants indicates a very professional, upscale commercial environment tailor-made for high-level client meetings.
That assumes all firms are optimizing for that kind of legacy corporate meeting, though. Covent Garden, with its 3 doorstep stations, including the mainline rail access at Charing Cross, offers superior logistical ease for a far wider geographical talent pool. You mentioned the smart restaurants. Well, Covent Garden is surrounded by countless theaters, restaurants, bars, cafes, and retail outlets. It's a diverse amenity wealth that is, I would say, exponentially more appealing for social outings, team events, and that crucial post-work lifestyle integration.
I would suggest that diverse amenity wealth often translates to higher foot traffic, potential noise, and a less controlled external environment. Are you optimizing for the best client experience or just for the best staff happy hour? St. James's is positioned among established corporate powerhouses. That is the network you access just by being there.
And that distinction is exactly the strategic choice, isn't it? We are prioritizing talent acquisition over client appeasement. Today's talent prioritizes lifestyle and ease of commute above all else. The Covent Garden area's inherent vibrancy makes it a hotspot for talent, providing diverse, accessible networking opportunities that go beyond the traditional Mayfair corporate structures. The surrounding businesses aren't just corporate, they're media, creative, tech, a dynamic mixture that fosters very different kinds of opportunities. That brings us neatly to our final strategic clash, defining modern work culture through, well, vibe and features.
Let's discuss this concept of unleashing creativity.
Yes, St. Martin's Lane explicitly uses that phrase. The architecture across its 5 floors is contemporary. They provide flexible, inspiring spaces. They offer a business club and designer meeting rooms. And the active inclusion of networking events is crucial here. It's an active investment in that social capital. The modern workplace isn't just a desk, it's a platform for community. And that essential strategic asset is, I think, notably absent from the description of the quiet St. James's base.
That's a compelling argument for generalized collaboration, but I would frame the St. James's proposition differently. For businesses that require deep, uninterrupted concentration, that tranquil central London office base on a quiet street is a feature that commands a premium. We have to remember that high-value creative work, like structuring a complex financial instrument or drafting an intricate legal agreement, that requires deep focus, which is often inversely correlated with community buzz and creative chaos.
But the modern approach to work isn't about forced isolation, it's about providing options. The sheer variety of space in Covent Garden, across those 5 floors, allows for both intense focus and dynamic collaboration. You have 151 offices worth of optionality. That suggests the facility is large enough to compartmentalize noise and focus. St. James's, on the other hand, seems to rely exclusively on external silence and internal isolation.
Yet St. James's covers all the professional functionalities: private offices, kitchen facilities, showers, and meeting rooms with the latest presentation technology. The critical differentiation remains the administrative support. For 500 PCM, the firm in St. James's buys dedicated manned reception services that become an immediate efficiency multiplier. So, which is the better investment for a sub-10-person firm, a large impersonal community club, or reliable bespoke administrative bandwidth?
The better investment is the one that removes the structural bottleneck of future expansion. For 500 PCM, you're buying into the potential of 151 offices worth of future scope in Covent Garden, alongside triple connectivity and a superior lifestyle magnet for talent. The temporary administrative comfort of St. James's, while appealing, it locks the business into an unsustainable strategic model if and when growth occurs.
We clearly remain at an impasse on the foundational strategic priority. While St. Martin's Lane certainly offers greater scale and a superior capacity for physical growth, the 180 offices location in St. James's provides superior location prestige next to Mayfair. An undeniable factor for client confidence, a tranquil acoustic environment for high-focus work, and bespoke administrative support that guarantees immediate operational efficiency. All of this at the same accessible entry cost.
I see why you prioritize that controlled efficiency, but the identical cost for St. Martin's Lane unlocks, I think, vastly superior long-term strategic benefits. We're talking about better talent acquisition due to the transport links, the capacity for large-scale expansion, and a dynamic atmosphere explicitly designed to foster social capital through networking and creativity. St. Martin's Lane strategically positions a business to thrive and to scale in London's dynamic core.
It seems the ultimate decision really rests on whether the business optimizes for acoustic capital, the quiet prestige and focused service of the St. James's model, or the maximization of social capital, so the boundless scale and cultural dynamism of Covent Garden. It has to be said, both represent strategically astute, highly competitive central London options.
Right. The firm has to decide if it is primarily a client-focused machine that needs immediate operational silence,
or if it's a scaling organization that's prioritizing talent and future options above all else. Both are completely valid strategic plays.